Alright guys, welcome back to Rampant Lion Reviews. So yeah, this is the first video I've published in a couple of weeks, so I thought I would take the opportunity to do another little kind of channel update for you, as I've done periodically over the course of the channel's lifetime, just to let you know what's going on with me personally and what I have planned for the channel over the next little while. So we'll start off on a little bit of a personal note, and this one has taken up a lot of my time recently and has been very difficult to deal with, in honesty. So, those of you that have watched the channel for a longer period of time and have interacted with me over the years will know that I have a little son called Douglas, and Douglas was born back in December of 2019, and I've not seen him since January of 2020. And that's been due to the COVID pandemic, but also, from my perspective at least, due to his mother being very, very difficult. And that's just been quite horrible for me and for my immediate family as well. So, yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff surrounding that. But to be clear, the relationship between his mother and I is now done, and I don't think there's any kind of coming back from that. So the plan had originally been for me to move to Japan, but because of the whole thing with Brexit and stuff like that, there was a lot of difficulties surrounding me sponsoring her visa into Sweden, and I also had to sort out my Swedish language certificate so that I would be guaranteed a job basically, so that I could do that. So that the whole Brexit debacle made things very, very difficult, to be honest with you. And then the COVID-19 pandemic made things kind of difficult as well. But the plan had been that I would move to Japan. We would spend a couple of years there so that I could get a proper grip of the Japanese language, and then we would move back to Sweden in time for the little guy starting school, and I would work in the south of Sweden or over in Copenhagen. That was the idea, and the little guy would go to school here. More recently, though, I had actually been planning to move to Japan in November of 2021, so I'd given up my apartment in Sweden. I'd gone back home to Scotland because two of my best friends were getting married. I was best man at these weddings. And yeah, I was about to book my flight to Japan, and she turned round and told me that I couldn't live with her and the little guy. So yeah, that basically. From my perspective, she has just been a bit of a nightmare. For years, I felt that she's been, kind of very needy, if you like, and the responsibility was always passed to me to fix things, and she would never really do anything to help that. And our mother constantly interfered. That's quite a common thing in Asia, is that the whole family gets involved in things instead of letting the couple figure it out themselves. So that's been very, very trying. But at the end of the day, I've not seen my son for 2 years, and that's just been hell basically. I've asked her to keep me updated on how he's doing, that we have regular video calls, and she just doesn't do it. It's just an absolute shitmare, to be quite honest with you. So that has been it's been absolutely horrible to deal with, to be honest with you. And she just constantly changes her mind. I think there is a little bit of mental health issue in there, and Japan is a very, very high pressure culture, so parental pressure and all this is playing a role too. But yeah, that whole situation has just been an absolute nightmare. But I have absolutely no intention of giving up on my son. Japan has very, very odd custody laws, but I've seen recently that there is a French guy over there who has been kind of fighting the cause, if you like, and the EU and France have managed to charge this guy's wife with child abduction, actually, because Japan does not recognise dual custody. Japan only recognises one parent as having custody, and they don't involve themselves in domestic matters. The Japanese police don't do that. So there are avenues opening up that will allow me to kind of deal with this effectively. So that's something that I'm keeping a very, very close eye on, basically, and I do plan to keep pushing and make sure that I get access to my little guy. I've got no intention of giving up on my son. But as I'm sure those of you watching will understand, that's just been a horrible thing to deal with, and there's nothing more that I want than to be a proper dad to my little guy. And it's been just a nightmare. I felt at points that I've been dealing with like a teenager, just a moody teenager, because of the constant mind changing and stuff like this. I know I'm not the only father that's had to deal with this, and a couple of my close friends, one of whom is actually in Japan, has had to deal with this as well. So yeah, it's just a nightmare. But from a personal perspective, that's been absolutely horrible to deal with. But the fact that there's a little bit more kind of certainty in there now that it's done, and that gives me a little bit of hope for the future and things like that. I felt that I really have underachieved in a lot of ways during the course of this relationship. So the future's kind of looking bright and things there, in a sense. So we just need to see how that goes. But that has been very, very difficult to deal with from a personal side of things. All I really want is to be a dad to my little son, and hopefully that's something that we can sort out, at least make progress on over the next year. I do want to get out to Japan and see him, but I can just see her being difficult if I was to turn up in Osaka and go and visit him. But anyway, that's another story. So yeah, lots of difficulties surrounding seeing my son, to summarize it basically. So we'll leave that one as it is. I do plan to fight on, and I will make sure that I see my son and my son knows his dad. That is absolutely my full intention. But to something a little bit more positive. So at the moment, over the next few months, I am continuing to study Japanese, and I'm going to take a more advanced Swedish course as well to keep working on that. And I've been doing some economics classes, but my primary focus over the next sort of 6 months is to finish a diploma in software engineering and data analysis, because I work with that, and I have worked with that for quite a wee while, but I just don't have a piece of paper that says I can do it, if you like. So I'm having to kind of jump through that hoop at the moment. But yeah, I work with data analysis and software development. At the moment, I'm applying for some jobs and things. I need to decide exactly what route I'm going to take. As far as I can see, there's two different routes. Either I can be a sort of digital nomad and dot around and visit lots of places, which would be a very, very attractive thing, or I can set up a base and get a little bit of experience. So yeah, I need to decide exactly which one of those routes I want to take. I have been applying for different jobs. I've applied for things in Malmö and Copenhagen as well. I applied for a job in Luxembourg. Frankfurt is another one, Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, New York. I've applied for quite a few things all over the place, so there could be a relocation at some point later in the year. I'm not sure exactly what one of these, if any, will come to fruition, but yeah, I will be changing my job later in the year. So we will just need to see exactly what happens with that. But yeah, in the kind of medium term, if you like, over the next couple of years before I hit 35, basically I want to do a tour of like Latin America and see that properly, and also Southeast Asia. Those are the two big things that I'd like to do. So that is making me lean towards the kind of nomadic lifestyle a little bit, and that of course would be very, very cool for the channel. There's lots of good craft beer in Latin America these days, and Southeast Asia is starting to kick off from that perspective too. So we'll just need to see how that goes. But I do have a few definite travel plans set up already for 2022. So in March, April time, I will go to Germany. I'm going to go to Berlin and see Halloween and Blind Guardian play. Both of those bands are playing within a couple of days of each other in Berlin. So I'm going to go to Berlin, do some out and about filming around there, and I'm also going to go down to Bamberg for a few days to visit my friend Daniel. So you will see a few out and about videos at the likes of Schlenkerla, Spezial and Zwergla and these kind of famous places in Franconia in the north of Bavaria. So you can look forward to those. I also have a trip planned to Croatia and Montenegro with my cousin, and that is going to be towards the end of April. We are hoping that we can expand that to go further north in Croatia and do Slovenia as well, but the North Croatia and Slovenia part we're not 100% sure on, but South Croatia and Montenegro is definite, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I do hope that I can hook up with Davor in Slovenia. That would be absolutely awesome to do. I am also planning to go to the US later in the year, September I think. I do have a flight with KLM already paid for to go over there, so I just need to choose the dates. But yeah, it'll mean that I'll finally get to do that New England beer tour that I've been talking about for a little while, and I'll get to hook up with the likes of Paul from PA Brew News and also Massive Matt as well. So you'll maybe see some collaboration reviews and things like that over there. But I'm looking at potentially going to visit a friend in Colorado and another one in Texas as well, and I'm hoping that I can get to Chicago. My dad had actually mentioned that he wanted to go to Vancouver in Canada and also Alberta as well to show me the airfield that my grandpa trained for the war in. So that's another potential there. There will be something in the US later in the year, but exactly how long and how comprehensive and things that's going to be will just depend. It will also depend on what route I decide to take with my job and things. Obviously, if I'm working as a nomad, it's easy enough to do all of these things. But if I am working with more of a base, if you like, then it's not quite as easy as that. But who knows? I might end up relocating. I might end up getting a job in New York. You never know. There's a few things. There's definitely a few irons in the fire, and we just need to see what happens over the next little while. But in terms of the relocation things that I've mentioned, getting a job here in South Sweden or in Copenhagen is very attractive. Singapore would probably be my preferred option of relocation, but it's very difficult to get into Singapore just now. But equally, going to New York and having a bit of time in the States is very attractive as well. And because of my son, being in Tokyo is obviously an option. But again, Tokyo is a little bit difficult to get into without, banking experience and a high level of language, if you like. So that's maybe something for a wee bit later on. But anyway, I do need to arrange some travel out to Japan to visit the little guy as well. And that is the one that will take priority. That might be around sort of June, July time. But again, we just need to see how things go in that regard, because I don't really trust the little guy's mother to let me see him if I go over there. That's one of the big issues there just now. So yeah, first priority is to get out to Japan and visit the little guy. But in the more immediate future, we have Germany, Croatia, Montenegro for definite, potentially Slovenia as well. And like I say, we'll be going out to the States later in the year too. So in terms of collaborations and stuff like this with other guys, so obviously you've seen me collaborate a little bit with John of John Drinks recently. I am planning to collaborate a little bit more with Bilko and Brenny in Glasgow, so you will see some videos with them. I'm hoping that I can meet up with Danny McFadden of Sofa King Drunk as well, actually. You will hopefully see him on the channel at some point. And I need to see what I can do about the England tour that I've been talking about for a while as well. Obviously, COVID put paid to the plans that we had for that, to go and visit all the guys in England and do some out and about filming with them. So I'm hoping that I can meet up with some of the English guys over the next while as well and get something like that arranged, because that's been on the go for a while and basically postponed because of all this virus stuff that's been going on. But in terms of the actual beers that I'm going to review on the channel, there's a few things in the mix there. So I do have a little bit of German and Belgian stuff back home in Scotland that I'm going to work through in March when I go back. I am working on getting some French beers, and this has been quite difficult actually. I need some tips from those of you watching in the Francophone world, particularly in France, on web shops. So I would love to order a box of beer from a French web shop that will come up to Sweden. So if you know any web shops in France that will send the beers up to Sweden, I would absolutely love to know those. So let me know about those through Instagram or whatever. That's the best way to get a hold of me for messaging and things is through Instagram. So please message me with your French web shop recommendations. I need to talk to Severio as well. He's been wanting to do an Italian box for quite a wee while, but I've had so much beer, I've not really been able to get around to that. But Severio's Italian box will be the first priority in terms of beer boxes. And then Riku in Finland is also starting to gather beers for the next Finnish box as well. So sometime probably toward the middle of the year, mid to late 2022, you will see some more Finnish beers on the channel. He's been gathering me up some nice imperial stouts and barley wines and stuff like this. So yeah, like I say, some German and Belgian stuff. You're going to see quite a few Scottish, Irish and Swedish and Danish beers as well, which is regular on the channel. Hopefully we can get a bit more French stuff done, Italian and Finnish. And yeah, those are the main priorities for the channel over the next wee while. Anything random, of course, that comes up is always great to do. But yeah, we've got lots of interesting beers to work our way through, and I hope that you guys can continue to enjoy the different videos and things that we're doing. I will do more out and about videos both here in Sweden and further afield. I do want to get back to doing Meet the Breweries, and particularly in Scotland I would like to film a few more of those, but we will also see about getting a few interviews done here in Sweden and across in Denmark as well. But yeah, lots of ideas and things in the works for the channel, so you can rest assured that there will be some nice content coming over the next little while. But yeah, that's a little bit of a kind of brain dump on you for the moment, just to let you guys know what's going on. But I hope that's a nice little channel update for you, and fingers crossed I can sort things out with the little guy, and I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about what's going on in terms of work and location and stuff like that a little bit later on in the year. But yeah, I hope that you all had a very, very nice Christmas, and you all had a nice New Year. And yeah, I hope you continue to enjoy the videos over the course of 2022. Thank you for all your support over 2021. It's been really cool to see the channel continue to grow. And I'll see you guys very soon with more videos. Slanger just now. Catch you guys very soon.